In March 2022, a Camas, Utah man, Eric Richins, died. He died, and it looked maybe originally like he just maybe had died in his sleep. His wife, Corey, called 911 and reported that everything was honky dory, everything was fine. They had a little drinky poo before they went to sleep, and next thing you know, her husband's dead. Now, this, of course, is the case of the murder of Eric Richins at the alleged hand of his wife, Corey Richins. We are on day 7. We wrapped up day 7 of her murder trial today in what is expected to last about 4 or 5 weeks. I have been gone, as you guys have noticed. I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit. But yeah, I'm out of practice. Javi, let's do a take 2. Thank you for joining me, and we will dig into this in a minute. Here we go. This video contains mature themes and discussions intended only for adult audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello there, my friend. Welcome back to another true crime conversation with me, Gavin Fish. I'm rusty, man. I'm rusty. I don't know what I'm doing. I've been gone for a week. I tried to not be gone for a week. I went to the state of California, my home state, not the state of my birth, not the state where I spent my childhood, well, the beginning of my childhood, but the state that I consider my home, which is California. I grew up in the Orangevale area. I went back for some meetings and to see some people, and of course to spend some time with my mom and dad, my sister, brother-in-law, and nieces and nephews. I brought the whole kit and caboodle, a whole traveling studio with me, and when we tried it, it was just le pew. It did not work out well for us at all. And it just didn't seem to matter. The problems were many-fold, not just internet connectivity related. They were many-fold. And I gave up. I gave up. Hey, while I was away, look at this fancy mug that our daughter made. She didn't make it specifically for me. I asked her if I could use it in tonight's live stream. It's got hearts. It's got little daisies on it. It holds water. It's a successful water vessel. It is perfect. She did a terrific job on that little mug. Anyway, yeah, so I was gone, and I'm sorry that I was gone. We probably will have a smaller crowd tonight because people are like, hey, Gavin disappeared, right? So he's no longer on here. It'll take a while for everybody to realize, hey, I did not pass into the great beyond. I did not give up on YouTube. I just had a hard time technologically speaking. Now, Emmy's saying the connection when I was with Josh was great. Yeah, I did have internet connectivity issues during my live stream, but I figured that part of it out. It was the rest of it that didn't work. And I may have to switch over to what Josh and Tiff use. Yeah, I might have to change my technology, make it more simple, or have a full-time person like back at the old homestead while I'm doing my remotes who can run the system from here. Maybe that. I don't know. I don't like any of my options right now. I'm looking into it. I forgot to say, thank you for joining me, and wherever you're joining me from, tell me in the comments. Looks like Nikki is joining us from sunny Bermuda. Pretty awesome. So tell me where you are. Robin says, loves that Gavin shows his daughter's work to us. Gives me the warm fuzzies. Oh, she did great. Look at that. Look at that. What do they call that? They call that glaze. The glaze work is beautiful. The handle is sturdy and strong. She did a great job. I like to drink from this side of it because it's not perfectly round because it's handmade. It just pours perfectly into the old face hole. Michelle is from Memphis, Tennessee, UNC Tar Heel. Let me guess, North Carolina. Joplin, Missouri, Miami is in the house. I think I saw up here. Of course, Emmy is here from San Jose. Glad you are here, Emmy. Let's see. Gwendolyn Shepard is from the First Electric City. Ooh, she's gotten creative, and I love that. I love when there's some creativity. I'm not sure what city is the First Electric City, but welcome, Gwendolyn. Yeah, Emmy from sunny California. Thank you guys. Austin, Texas in the house. And I love it when we reach not only the fruited plain, but and sea from shining sea, from sea to shining sea, but also I love hearing from those of you in other parts of the world. Thank you very, very much for being here. Indeed, guys are awesome. Okay. I have to say, today in court was important. There was important testimony that was given against Corey Richins. By the way, when we look at photos of Corey Richins, does she just always look like she's just not quite sure what is happening here? She just kind of has a doy face. And I'm sorry. I mean, I don't mean to go on the attack, though I don't feel any love for this woman because having seen all of the evidence that has been filed so far against her, and there's more coming out in the trial. I just truly believe that she offed her husband and wanted to for some time. But look at her. She's just like, it's horrible, Gavin. It's not her fault that she has a duh face. Speaking of faces, guys, I should have brought I wouldn't because I don't have their permission, but I spent time with family and friends over this past week back in California, as I said. I have got a nephew that from the day he was born has had a smile on his face. You know how most of us have RBF? He does not. He has resting smile face. He's just the happiest kid. And I wish I could show you a picture of him, but I didn't ask permission, so I'm not gonna. But it was just so much fun to be around him because he was always just smiling. It was a lot of fun. Okay, the First Electric City is Wabash, Indiana. Well, thank you very much. I learned a new thing today. Dreary Erie is in the house. Thank you very much for being here. Mooney says, I think this is her put on face for court. Let's take a look at it. If you watch the TV interviews, she doesn't play that way. In my opinion, she's playing mild and meek for the jury. Well, okay, so I think I said Wabash, didn't I? Anyway, Wabash, Indiana. Thank you very much. South Lake Tahoe is here. Let me get back to Mooney's comment. It's possible, sure, that she's playing pure as the wind-driven snow, meek and mild. Her place is in the kitchen, kind of, trad wife for the jury. Possible, I guess. Though this photo was taken in a hearing when there wasn't a jury. And when you look at like the family photos, let's look at the family photos. Yeah, she doesn't look so like, what? And you're right. You're right, Mooney. You're right. And when you're right, you're right. Wabash, says Mooney. And Scotch's mom from Jacksonville, thanks for being here. Okie dokie. What do we want to say about today? I'm just, you know what I'm going to do? Today's proceedings, let's see if we can get that so that it looks right. There's better. Today's proceedings were rather dry. Rather dry indeed. I wanted to get you guys a clip to watch, but I just couldn't find one that wasn't so boring. Like, I would have fallen asleep in court today, but it was important testimony and, Bash, Wabash. Okay, Robin. Okay, sorry. Wabash, not Wabash. I, as you know, Robin, I'm kind of a fancy Dan, kind of Mr. Fancy Pants. I like to put that long A in there, but it's Wabash. Wabash, Indiana. Am I getting that right this time, Robin? Wabash, Indiana. I think I got that right this time. Okay, let's get back to the and guys, I'm gonna rely on your comments today because I was just so bored. I was just so bored, but Court TV put together a pretty darn good summary of what happened today. That the the prosecution's witness was a forensic accountant named Brooke Carrington. Now, of course, I think Ms. Carrington is probably a lovely woman, but she's a forensic accountant. Therefore, I'm going to fall asleep. Now, this is coming from a place of love, okay? My brother-in-law, who I deeply love, is a CPA. As soon as he starts talking about that's just the way it is. However, they did get some pretty important things kind of put together. Number one, Ms. Carrington was hired by the prosecution to review everything about Corey Richins' business and personal finances. And boy, were they a mess. And I remember, oh, you know what? If I'm doing the I remember, Wanda, we need some flashback music, if you would please. Thank you. Okay. Oh, that is delightful, Wanda. I remember back in the day when it was pre-real estate bubble in the United States, and especially in the golden state of California, where those of us who were young at the time, on the young end at the time, thought that this is just the way that real estate works, right? That things double in value while they're being built, and just us smart people just knew how to take care of business, and we would do very risky things, including taking interest-only loans, taking balloon loans, taking hard money loans, and how did that work out for us? This is the collective us, which includes me. It did not work out well for us, okay? And Corey Richins, we knew this going into it, but she was experiencing the ID10T error, right? What we used to refer to, again, Wanda, we're talking about the past here, so a little bit of, oh, that's nice. A little flashback music. Back when I was a full-time coder and we would make stupid jokes like calling people ID10Ts. But she was just experiencing the ID10T error in her life. She was digging herself deeper and deeper and deeper in debt, trying to make money by flipping houses. So I think by starting in January of 21 to March of 22. Now remember, let's see. Trying to remember. I think that he was killed in 23, right? Let me look back at this. Look at time. No, it's March of 22. Okay, so from January 21 until his death, Corey Richins was getting in deeper and deeper and deeper debt, all the way till she was about $7.5 million in debt, according to this forensic accountant, Ms. Carrington. And she was paying $80,000 a month just in debt service. In 2019, she testified, Corey Richins took out a hard money loan. Well, no, I take that back. It was a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, on the house that was in Eric's name. And she did it by signing his name, attorney in fact. So it said like Eric Richins, attorney in fact. She apparently had power of attorney, but I think that it was some sort of fraudulent power of attorney. So she had taken out $250,000 in a home equity line of credit against the house they were living in, a house that was his, a house that was in his name only. And by the time he died, that HELOC was maxed out at 254. So she was trying to get money everywhere she could in order to stay afloat, trying to cover her tail. And I think I saw a comment where or what? Well, I thought I saw a comment come in. Yeah, from Mooney. Corey used loan sharks, hard money loans to cover her tail, and that's you know, when we talk about hard money, we're not necessarily talking about a bunch of Chili Palmer guys, right? But usually they're like family trusts or, rich people that have a person that will make high interest loans. Like at the time that these loans were made, Ms. Carrington testified, interest rates were at historic lows. You could buy a house, at 2.25%, 2.5%, and she was paying 10% on this. So just to do the math really easy, right? If she got a hard money loan for $250,000 and she was paying 10%, that meant that just the interest on that was $2,000 a month, right? You take 250, take 10% of that, 25,000, and divide it by 12. So yeah, $2,083 a month, and just for like $250,000, and she was $7.5 million in debt. Now I don't think that all 7.5 was hard money, was at that 10%, right? But if it were, let's say, actually it probably was, because that turns out to be $62,500. So she just had crazy debt. And Mooney, you're right. Eric did find out about Corey signing his name on that home equity loan. Yeah, and he had suspicions that his wife was thinking of killing him. Remember, he got very sick after eating a sandwich from the Camus Cafe. I can't remember what it's called. But, his favorite sandwich was laced with something. He got very sick. And yeah, he changed the trust so that his sister was in charge. Yes, that's exactly right. And if you want to know where a great timeline is on this, it is, of course, on crimetimelines.com. Let me bring you over to this. I love this team who put this together. But just going quick, in June of 2013, they were married. 2015 to 2017, she purchases life insurance policies. The aggregate death benefit was nearly $2 million. This is part of that that monetary motive, right? The prosecutors are building a case towards. Let me see if I can get this kind of bigger for you guys. Let's see, 2013, they're married. What's 2018? Yeah, they have something wrong with it. Okay. So they live in Summit County, Utah. This is my home turf. This is where my grandparents were born and raised, where my parents were born. Well, my mom was raised. She gets into real estate. She opens a bank account without Eric's knowledge in March of 2019. She obtains a HELOC, borrowing about $250,000 using a forged deed of trust. She forms her LLC at that point. Eric discovered in 2020 that Corey withdrew $100,000 from his bank accounts. He learns she borrowed $30,000 using his credit cards. He also learned she borrowed money using a fraudulent power of attorney. Eric confronts Corey, who promises to repay the money, but allegedly does not. Prosecutors say Corey misused approximately $494,000 of Eric's money. And remember that Eric was a successful businessman. Right, he had a masonry company. So also accused of misappropriating tax payments totaling $134K. In October of 2020, he consults a divorce lawyer and estate planning attorney. He changes that will, like Mooney said. He forms the trust. Control of his estate is placed with his sister. The trust is established for the benefit of his 3 children. He transfers his business partnership interest into the trust. That means that he's protecting, like it wouldn't go to probate, it wouldn't automatically go to his wife. So if anything happened to him, then his roughly half of the business goes to his children. It bypasses his wife. Designates the trust as the beneficiary of his $500,000 life insurance policy instead of Corey. So this guy, you know what? He was seeing the signs. He was seeing the signs, and he was doing all the right things as far as setting up a future for his children if something happened to him. But I think one of the mistakes he made, and this is not blaming him, I mean, this is a mistake that I would make, right? This is a mistake many people make. He didn't, when the red flags were there, he didn't believe that she meant to do him harm. And, well, maybe at this point in the timeline, it might have been a little too early. Anyway, so November 20, he signs a will that provides, includes provisions for his children. 2021, he reportedly expresses concern about finances. Prosecutors later allege disputes about money and control of accounts. Life insurance policies are later cited by investigators as relevant to motive, right? She was after his money. From August 2021 to December, Corey issues a series of bad checks. I think she racked up about $6,500. That was testified today in what do they call those fees, right? Where you don't have enough money in your account. Funds are routed through K. Richens Realty and personal accounts before checks are returned. Charges multiple felony counts of issuing bad checks and money laundering. June of 2021, first charge, act of mortgage fraud and forgery. August 2021, second charge of mortgage fraud and forgery. August 12th, an additional falsified personal bank statement submitted to Excel Financial Services. Same thing in October. November, another one. January of 2022, Corey allegedly changes the beneficiary of Eric's $2 million life insurance policy to herself without authorization. The original beneficiary was Eric's business partner. Business partner is later restored as the beneficiary once the change is discovered. Corey also applies for a $100,000 life insurance policy on Eric. When you see stuff like that, guys, these are flags that people mean you bodily harm. They want your money, right? January of 22, Corey asks for fentanyl, later propofol. Later on, another life insurance policy. February, she pays $900 for approximately 15 to 20 pills of fentanyl, allegedly. February 14th, Eric becomes seriously ill after eating a sandwich that Corey gave him. And Eric expressed to a friend that he believes that Corey was trying to poison him. Corey allegedly called a local diner, pays $41.29 for the meal. Eric uses his son EpiPen and drinks Benadryl after eating the sandwich. I don't know if that helped or not. So she wants stronger fentanyl pills. In February, she wants the Michael Jackson stuff. March 3rd, prosecutors alleged that she prepared an alcoholic drink for Eric that was laced with fentanyl. And of course, we know the rest of the story. This woman, man. This woman. Go to crimetimelines.com. I put a link in the description below if you want to see it. If you want to read through that, they do a very, very good job in documenting this. It's crazy. Let's see what your comments are over here. Emmy says, how far away is Summit County from Lehi? Lehi is, I think that's technically the North Utah Valley, kind of north of Provo. If you were to jump over Mount Timpanogos, that would land you in Wasatch County. And if you travel another 10 or 13 miles, you're in Wasatch County, or I'm sorry, in Summit County. So Summit County, that includes, if you want to look at a map, it includes Francis, Camas, Marion, Oakley, Peoa, Colville. You know, let's see. I think Park City's in Summit County. I think that might be in Wasatch County, but it's from Lehigh. It's about a, I don't know, 45 minute drive into where Corey and Eric Richens lived. Thank you, Robin. Oh, sorry. There we go. Robin is helping me today with everything. Non-sufficient funds fees. Thank you very much. K-Girl is 50. K-Girl, congratulations on reaching 50. I had a hard time with 50, turning 50. I just had a real hard time. But I was reminded while I was in California, some people don't make it. I should be grateful to make it to 50, and I am. Guys, I had the best time. I will tell you all about it if you want me to. I had the best time while I was in California. And Mooney says there's a special place for her under the jail. Yeah, she's as diabolical and has no soul just as much as Stephen Stearns was for his crimes. Yeah, they're just people that, most of us, I was talking with Josh Ritter on Courtroom Confidential, like many of us get desperate when we get so far in debt, right? I mean, that's just a natural thing for us to do. We get desperate. But most of us don't consider offing the person we purportedly love, or the father/mother of our children, or we don't consider that. It takes a very special person. And of course, this is all alleged. She has not been convicted of anything, but if you go by what the police and prosecutors are saying, and I think they've got a very good, strong case, I think that she is going down. And I think she had to, I think she, I think she had to plead not guilty just to roll the dice, because that's the best she can hope for. Mm. That is a wonderful little mug. Is that not the cutest little thing? Look at that. It's adorable. Missed the old family while I was away. Okay, guys, that's Autumn's like, I'm fully here now. I had to put the groceries away. Well, Autumn is our fearless moderation leader. Autumn, thank you very much for being. But that's pretty much all I got. Let me just check the notes one more time. Notes that I took. I was watching along with Gisela and who else was I watching today? I can't remember. But yeah, so the HELOC, it had been maxed out. Her bank accounts were overdrawn. She was borrowing from banks to service debt. $5,600 in fees for bounced checks. That's what it was. The non-sufficient funds. It wasn't 65, it was 56. I inverted that. Yeah, just boring day, but important information that I hope that the jury stayed awake. One of the things that I found funny in this case, okay, listen. We are supposed to keep the jury members anonymous, and somebody was in court sketching them, like really sketching them. Can't believe people. Listen, we got to be better than that, people. Emmy says, I used to visit Lehigh twice back in 2015. Yep, I've got family members who live in that area. That's pretty cool. Cool beans. All right, so what did we learn today? Oh, just that she was in financial straits. That is her motive, and I think that as we go along, I went back and I looked at all of the, let me bring it up for you. What am I trying to say? The documents that have been filed in this case. There's just so much. But this was one that kind of tickled my fancy. This was her voluntary statement the night that Eric died. She did it home at 3 a.m. on the 4th of March, 2022. Eric and I put the kids to bed around 9 p.m. We had a drink around 9:15 p.m. to celebrate work. Remember, she had purchased a giant house in Heber City, which is in Wasatch County. That is where my grandparents raised my parents, in Heber City. My dad calls it the geographic center of the universe. For him, it was the best place in the world to grow up, and it's a beautiful, beautiful town. But yeah, she had closed on this giant house, having been so far in debt. We laid in bed for about 5 minutes. My son was having nightmares, so I went to sleep in his bed. My husband and I said goodnight. I love you. I woke up around 3 a.m. to go back to bed and got in our bed and went to hug/cuddle Eric, and he was freezing. I put a blanket on him and gently pushed him, and something, but he didn't respond, and his body was having a weird feeling. I knew something was wrong. I turned the lights on. He was pale, not breathing. I called 911. She told me to do CPR, pull him off the bed with the sheets, and I did. Then the paramedics showed up and took over from there. That was her. That's what she said. And there's so many documents, so many affidavits of probable cause in this that I should probably put that up on the website. I never did, but it just from the very beginning, I think the police were like, I smell something here. The smell of fish. I wonder what that could be, right? And I think they had her nailed from the very beginning, but took a long, long time to investigate it and bring justice to Eric Richins. See if there are any other comments before we nope, we're going to go on, guys. What time is it? It is time for which one do we do first? We do 3 questions. Here we go.
3 questions with Gavin Fish.
Pow. Okay, in this segment, guys, I answer your questions to me that you send in via email. Not there are rules here, okay? I hate to be that guy, but there are rules that we must abide, okay? I don't answer questions during the 3 questions comment section from the live comment. I don't do that. You have to email them, okay? Them's the rules. They were established. We have to abide by them. So please send your questions to 3questions@gavinfish.com. It's spelled out 3questions@gavinfish.com. THREE questions@gavinfish.com. I solemnly promise to answer all the questions that come in to the best of my ability. I will do so in the order that I find them most interesting. Not in the order they're received. But there are a couple of good questions in here. Let's bring them on up, shall we? And there are a couple of questions like I want to know your opinion on. I want to know your thoughts about them. Okay. Question number 1 comes to us from Melody. Melody says, do you or have you ever considered doing a meet and greet somewhere and discussing cases? I think that would be a blast. Well, listen, I've done it once. Not exactly how you're describing, like a meet and greet. I did what I called a true crime convo, and it was a live in-person presentation of a case. That is where I met Mooney for the first time in person. She traveled all the way up from her beautiful state, which is, as we all know, for lovers, and you know, few dozen people. I think we had 50 people there. The issue is that it's really expensive to pull one of those things off. It's way more expensive than I thought it would be. So, I charged money for the event to cover the expenses, but I was shocked at how expensive it was. Makes me wonder if we were to maybe set up a meet and greet alongside CrimeCon or something like that. We could do a meet and greet at a... The thing though is, I don't know. The longer I do this and the more crazy things happen, I don't know. There are just crazy people in the world. I'm not Melody, not you that are watching, but there are just crazy people in the world. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You tell me, guys, if you would like to do a live meet and greet. I or something like that. Maybe we could do True Crime Convo number 2. Maybe we could do that and have a good time doing it. I don't know. I'm up for it. You tell me, you guys tell me, you tell me. You guide me on this one. Question number 2 comes to us from Debbie. What are your favorite things to take photos of? Have you ever entered any of your photos in a judging contest? As you guys know, or maybe you don't know quite yet, I am an amateur photographer. I love photography. I started on my photography journey when I was a freshman in high school. That puts me at 13 years old. In fact, while I was in California, I think I posted it to the tank. Let me see if it's up there. Let me get over into the tank here real quick. I think I posted a picture of me with my... No, it wasn't in the tank. It was just on my Facebook page. Give me a second. I'll find it. I will find it. Photos. Oh, there we are. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so let me bring this up. This is me with my high school photo teacher, Mr. Thorner, Casa Roble High School. He and I got together on the 25th, just like a week or so ago, for the first time since 1997. This man completely changed the trajectory of my life. I owe so much to him and other great teachers, by the way, not just him. But Mr. Thorner and I took his class for 3 years. He only had photo 1 and photo 2. He let me do an independent study the 3rd year. And then on the 4th year, I went into the journalism track. And yeah, he changed my life, guys. And anyway, so the second part of the question was, have I ever entered my photos into a judging contest? Yeah, I have. Okay, so the first part of the question is, what do I like to take photos of? I like to take photos of people. Mr. Thorner was and is a extremely talented landscape photographer. Extremely talented. His work is just crazy beautiful. I love taking pictures of people, and I like taking candid pictures of people. I like taking studio portraits. Studio portraiture is probably my favorite thing. And yeah. Now, have I ever entered my photos in a judging contest? Yes. Yes. And I've won a couple of gold medals, actually, for my work over the years. Many, many, many years ago. I stopped entering in contests. But yeah, many, many, many years ago, I won a couple of gold medals with my photography. Yeah. And it was fun. And with the Mamiya RZ67 that you see on the desk behind me, which Mr. Thorner always called a Mamma Mia RZ67, I am swinging back into medium format film photography, and I'm really excited about it. I'm going to have a lot of fun with that, and I think I will do portraits the old-fashioned way on film. I'm really looking forward to it. Like, I'm stoked about it. I might take it out and do some other stuff with it too. Like, it's a capable camera, and way more capable than I am as a photographer. So we'll probably do some other stuff too. Okay. Final question. And don't forget, I want your responses in the live chat. Would you expand on your comment regarding your experience with predatory documentary filmmakers? And this is Ria who asked this. Oh, yeah, I can expand on it. Here, let me. It's not just documentary filmmaking. It is filmmaking in general. Okay. I really just don't like the way that Hollywood creates art, and I recognize that it's a business, and so it is done for the purpose of making money. However, in the documentary filmmaking world, it seems like producers make money, directors make money, nobody else makes money. In fact, most want people to be most don't want to pay anything for anything beyond, um, you know, well, beyond nothing. They don't want to pay money for anything. And so I will keep the production company names and the producers' names out of this conversation. Um, and by the way, I'm not singling out any one person. It is the industry. It is the industry that is the problem. So, for example, I worked for 3 years on the Ellen Greenberg case, and am probably the most organized out of anybody with Ellen's files. With anything Ellen Greenberg, I am the most organized. I'm backed up. I, you know, I'm the guy to come to. So of course they came to me, right? And I had already been burned once by a giant and wealthy production company on the Amanda Winkowski case. And so I had already learned to say no to production companies, but in this case it was Ellen, and I wanted to help her parents get a production across the finish line. However, I didn't want my 3 years worth of work to just be given to them in perpetuity and exclusively. So they wanted me to give them all of my work for 3 years in perpetuity. Nobody else could use it, exclusive and in perpetuity. They wanted to pay me $10,000. And I told them to kick rocks. $10,000? What did Ellen Dakota Fanning make on that? And what did they do? And they're people I admire. I love Elle Fanning. I love Dakota Fanning. But what did they do? They came in at the last minute, put their names attached to it, and I don't know, paid for it to be produced. But they sold it before they paid for it, right? It's sold first, so they know exactly how much money. I just hate it all. I just hate it all. And I get people reaching out to me, not terribly frequently, maybe a couple times a month, saying, we'd really love you to be a part of this documentary series, or we'd really like you to be part of this, blah, blah, blah. And the answer now is just no. No, I don't hate the people. I hate the business. It just sucks. And I hate it. And, you know, I just hate it. So when you go and see Death in Apartment 603, you'll notice that there's a lot that is missing. It's because they didn't get it from me, because I wouldn't sell in perpetuity exclusively. It was dumb. And they would say stuff like, Gavin, this is just the way we do things. Okay, it's the way you do things. It's not the way I do things. And this is really gauche to be talking about money like this, but look, if I'm working hard on something and I am the expert and I am the person that has collected everything into a neat little tidy bow, neat little tidy file with a bow on it, then you got to pay me for my work. That's just the way it is. And they always want to make the money and not pay it out. And it's super predatory. Now, I could tell you, oh, dude, the Amanda Winkowski case. Oh my goodness. In the Amanda Winkowski case, I full on was going out and filming witnesses and law enforcement, and I was getting documents that hadn't been obtained, and I was doing it on behalf of the production company. And then they're like, well, we can't pay you for this. Like, I got to feed my family, man. So yeah, we will make tons of money on this, but I'm sorry, we can't share that with you. Drove me crazy. So yeah, that is what I feel about that's how I feel. They're just super predatory, and I don't like them. Those are your 3 questions. Now, I want to get your feedback on the questions. Would you like to come to a meet and greet? And what's your hobby? Have you ever entered your work, your hobby into exhibits and stuff like that? I'd love to hear about that. And then, yeah, any thoughts on the business of true crime? I would love your thoughts. And while You're using your thumbs to tell me all about that. Let's hop into some headlines, shall we?
True crime headlines.
Okay, I got a few headlines for you tonight. First one having to do. This one is a few days old, but I was MIA, and so let me just bring us all up to date. New motion is filed in the Morphew case related to the release of Suzanne Morphew's remains. Dateline, Alamosa County, Colorado. A lawyer for Suzanne Morphew's daughters has filed a motion related to the release of Suzanne's remains, claiming that the state wrongfully took her remains from the funeral home they'd been given to before. Oh, the funeral home had been given to before a service could be held. According to the motion filed last week, Suzanne's next of kin, whose names are redacted in most of the publicly available document, but unredacted in the document's conclusion, had planned a funeral service for Suzanne after the Chaffee County coroner released her remains in April 2024. The documents claim her remains were released to a funeral home at the request of the next of kin, but, quote, without warning and contrary to the prior lawful release, the state took possession of them. The motion is seeking an explanation from the state to explain why Suzanne's remains were taken and why they're being withheld, a temporary restraining order preventing the state from interfering in the next of kin's possession and burial of Suzanne, and the immediate release of Suzanne's remains. When asked about the motion, Swan Law funeral directors said, quote, because we value the privacy of the families we are honored to serve, we cannot comment on an active investigation. However, we are working closely with the local authorities and hope this matter is resolved soon. So I didn't know that. I didn't know that the state still had custody of Suzanne Morphew's remains, but it looks like they are gearing up for a fight there. In regards to the prosecution of Barry Morphew, I have not seen any new news on that. Turning to the Kevin Mullins case, this coming to us from Kentucky.com, written by Taylor Six. Headline reads, ex-Letcher sheriff will not testify at a civil assault trial. You guys remember that in the Judge Kevin Mullins case, let me bring up Judge Mullins. Mickey Stein shot Kevin Mullins, I can confidently say because it was done on video, shot Kevin Mullins to death in his chamber. And it was on a Thursday after he had been deposed on a Monday in a federal civil case where two women, Sabrina Atkins and Jennifer Hill. Jennifer Hill's estate has been dismissed from the lawsuit now. She is the late Jennifer Hill, but Sabrina Atkins' lawsuit remains. He had been deposed in that lawsuit, and it seems to be that was the root cause of him. Something happened leading up to and in the aftermath of his testimony or in his deposition. He then was charged with murder, and he was dismissed from the case because he was no longer the sheriff. Okay, so that brings us to where we are. The former Eastern Kentucky sheriff charged with killing a district judge in 2024 will not testify at the civil trial of his former employee accused of exchanging legal leniency for sexual favors. Sean Mickey Steins, 45, the former sheriff in Letcher County, was initially scheduled to testify in the trial this week of his former deputy, Ben Fields. Instead, a redacted version of a deposition Steins gave during the investigation of Fields will serve as Steins' testimony. Topics will include protocol, training, and culture while he was at the head of the sheriff's department, and I actually have a copy of that deposition. It's not all that redacted. Steins' lawyer previously told investigators the tense deposition, which happened just days before Steins was captured on camera shooting and killing Letcher County Judge Kevin Mullins in the judge's chambers on September 19th, 2024, would be crucial to his client's defense, but he has not said exactly how. So we'll see what happens. So that's what's happening to Mickey Steins. And then lastly, a headline I have for you, this from yesterday. You remember Daniel Martell, the stepfather of Lily and Jack Sullivan, had been arrested on an SA of an adult. Well, he appeared in court. So this coming to us from saltwire.com. Aaron Beswick is our writer. Headline: Stepfather of missing Nova Scotia siblings Jack and Lily Sullivan. We should bring up Jack and Lily. They're still missing. We have no idea where these kiddos are. And would it be great to get them back? But sadly, the odds are not in our favor. So, stepfather of missing Nova Scotia siblings Jack and Lily Sullivan appears in court on SA other charges. Again, Aaron Beswick says Pictou Provincial Court was packed Monday morning as Daniel Martel made his first appearance on charges of SA, assault, and forcible confinement. Martel, 34, is stepfather to Jack and Lily Sullivan. And then it just kind of recaps the case. A publication ban prohibits releasing any information that could identify Martel's alleged victim, who has only been identified by police as an adult. The charges, which Crown Attorney Bill Gorman said stem from an incident or incidents over a year ago, will proceed by indictment. The charges are not related to the missing children. Martel is scheduled to appear back in Pictou Court on March 30th. So that's what we have going on Mr. Martel's case, though no update in anything regarding Jack and Lily. Those are our headlines.
True crime headlines.
Alrighty, let's see what you guys are saying in the old chatteroo. Mooney's saying, I am in for True Crime Convo number 2. Maybe we do it. Maybe we do talk about a case or cases. Maybe we could make it longer. Maybe we could have little breakout sessions. Maybe we could have a guest. Maybe Josh or Joel or Sherilyn might be game for a visit here to maybe not even Worcester, Pennsylvania. Maybe we do it in a big city where we could easily travel to. Maybe Pittsburgh True Crime Convo or something. I don't know. Emmy's also in for True Crime Convo number 2. Robin says, I'm with Mooney as your moderators. We will keep the weirdos away except for ourselves because we're the good kind of weirdos. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Mooney saying, great t-shirt from Mr. Thorner, right? Mr. Thorner always rocked the graphic tees of the heavy metal bands. And I learned so much about him in the couple hours that we spent together. It was so much fun. It was just so much fun. Also, in this picture, there are a lot of people that are surprised at how tall I am. And they go, whoa, really funny. I'm not super tall. I'm 6'2". That's how tall I am. Let's see. So Mooney's gearing up for Metallica. Pretty cool. Let's see. Scotch's mom says, that sounds like fun, but it would be too far and expensive for me to travel. Two of my favorite things to take pictures of are my grandson and my cat. Never entered them in a contest. Animal photography is fun. I'm not very good at it because animals behave animal-like, animal-esque. You know, it's just hard. Though I do have a beautiful photo. Do I still have this? I don't think I have it in this room right now. I have a beautiful photo that I took of our first dog, Marshall. That was really good. Oh, he was a handsome boy. Handsome boy. Ohio Palm Mom says you're smart to keep control over your work. Yeah, I don't want to give it away or sell it exclusively and in perpetuity. It's dumb. Emmy says someone on Surviving the Survivor chat said they saw Sam at the Olympics coverage. I saw it too. There was a crew photo that I saw Sam in. Yeah. Emmy says my hobbies are jigsaw puzzles and cross stitching. Well, you chose the very hobbies of my mother-in-law and my mother. That's pretty cool. Pretty fun. Mooney says, I did have etchings hanging in the National Collection of Fine Arts in DC for a bit and won awards in high school. Very cool. I also had my sets written up for theater reviews. Awesome. Emmy says we could do the True Crime Convo online. Last time I did not stream True Crime Convo, but that is something that we could do where, I mean, I would probably want to charge for it because because it's just so expensive to pull off. It's usually the venue that is the it's just hard. So we could live stream. I did not live stream the last one. And Autumn says, I'll be in Pittsburgh for 3 weeks. Let's go. Maybe we do a true crime convo too. Maybe I'm also thinking about doing another scavenger hunt like we did for the baby Gavin. The baby Gavin is missing in 2025. I'm trying to find different ways to be engaging and have fun. Because we talk about such macabre and morose things in true crime. It's actually fun just to have a little fun, you know, just, you know, blow off some of that steam and be a little less serious. In fact, that's outside of the channel. Most people who are my friends are surprised to find out that I have a true crime channel because it's just not, it's my personality is a goofy one, is a funny one. So, and let's see, Emmy says, I get it, but can't fly or travel. I get it too. Always American Annie says, have the convo at the city with the biggest crime rates, so the hotels should be cheap. Oh, that is brilliance. That is brilliance. Take it at a place that's cheap to fly into and cheap to stay. I like that idea a lot. I honestly don't know how, like, CrimeCon UK I go to and I love going to, and they have a beautiful venue. And yeah, they charge hundreds of dollars for tickets, but I still don't get how they can even make even close to a profit on that. It's just, I mean, their sponsorships must really pay because it's just so expensive, man. All right, guys, thanks so much for spending a little bit of time with me today. I apologize once again for all of the technological issues that prevented me from being with you over the last week. I also, oh, let's see. Emmy says, not in general, just during the school year. Don't travel without my husband and kiddo. Oh, yeah, okay. Maybe we do it in the summertime. Maybe we do it during the summer. This summer is a big travel summer for me and my family. So I don't know. We'll have to think about it, or maybe over spring break or something like that. We'll have to think. We'll have to think. Maybe I can make some calls to some people who know how to put on events. See if that's something we could do. All right, guys, we will be back tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. I have noticed that my friend Joseph Scott Morgan has been talking a lot about Nancy Guthrie. And I know it's kind of fallen out of the zeitgeist. I'm going to reach out to him, see if he has any availability to come on and talk about Nancy's case here in the next week or two. I always love his insights. Remember that you can always reach out to me on my website, gavinfish.com, and join us over on the tank, will you? On Facebook. The easiest way to get to it is if you go to Meal website, you can click on this little icon up in the corner that looks like a fishy, and that will take you to the fish tank, which is where we hang out on Facebook. It looks like this, and you'll find us there. I'd love to have you join us. No guilt, but you're always, always, always invited. And with that, guys, I shall bid you adieu until tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, please take care of yourselves. Have a good night. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.